There's a lot of reports coming out that are indicating that the Phoenix Suns are potentially looking for a young center in a trade including Kevin Durant. Should the Miami Heat include Kel'el Ware in potential trade talks with the Phoenix Suns? All that and more in another episode of Miami Heat Talk. Guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe as we're pushing to 7,000 subscribers. Now that we got that out the way, yo, DJ, hit my intro.
That is enough said.
Happy Wednesday, Heat Nation. Hump Day. Yo, boy Ernest here. Back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Guys, thank y'all so much for the continued support. And let's go together on another Miami Heat Talk adventure because I really am excited about today's episode. Now, before we get started, you guys, I guess you can basically call this part 2 from yesterday's second episode, where we talked about the fact that the Phoenix Suns have officially lowered their asking price for Kevin Durant. Now, after I posted the video and I started doing more research on this, I actually saw something else that came out. And I want to throw some appreciation to the comments, especially my boy D-Box that gave me a little reminder, and some of you said that as well. My boy P-Tar as well in the comments were telling me yesterday that the Phoenix Suns are interested in trading for a young center. Now, I did more digging and research on that, and that does look to be true. I did read a report that said that Miami's interest in potentially acquiring Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns has been a recurring topic, with Kel'el Ware, a young center, being mentioned as a possible trade piece. While ESPN and Yahoo Sports reported on the Heat's willingness to offer Ware, there's also speculation that other teams would prefer more draft capital or prospects in exchange for Kevin Durant. Then another report came out from Matt Moore. Matt Moore, who's also an NBA inside reporter. He said that the Suns have indicated to teams that center is at a premium for them in any KD trade talks. He might stick around, but their biggest interest is in solving the center position, which has been a disaster since moving on from DeAndre Ayton. I did mention yesterday, you guys, another thing that was reported is that the Phoenix Suns are trying to get this trade done before the draft, which is smart. If you wait till NBA free agency, there's a possibility where Giannis Antetokounmpo becomes available. And if Giannis becomes available, other teams are going to hold out their assets to try to go all in for Giannis. So I get why Phoenix is trying to get this done before the draft, because if you do this before the draft, one thing you're not going to have to worry about is the Giannis factor. You're going to be able to strike while the pot's hot. So let's say, for example, like a team like Houston and San Antonio, they may be in the Giannis sweepstakes, but if you're throwing Kevin Durant availability now, these teams might go after him, thinking, let's not wait for Giannis, let's go after KD. I don't think that's the case. I think teams like San Antonio and Houston, especially with the draft capital they have and the young assets they have, I think they're going to wait because these are teams that become instant favorites if they trade for Giannis. Kevin Durant, maybe. So I understand why some of these teams are going to wait. But the other smart reason why Phoenix is doing this is because when a team drafts a player and signs them to the rookie scale contract, you can't trade them for 30 days. So that's going to be the end of July, way past free agency period. So it's going to hamper them. So it's smart trying to do the trade now because your 2025 draft pick becomes tradable. And now this goes back to the Miami Heat, because I mentioned a potential trade yesterday, and there's been a lot of recent, trade rumors, links, reports talking about what the Miami Heat would need to give up. A trade package centered around Andrew Wiggins, who has an expiring contract for the 2027 season. So this could potentially be his last year, which would give Phoenix cap flexibility. They still contend, in my opinion. I mean, not for a championship, but they're not tanking because Andrew Wiggins is a former champion. Andrew Wiggins can provide them defensive flexibility. He can allow Devin Booker and Bradley Beal to play their games. Bradley Beal, I guess at this stage, doesn't look at himself as a number 3. So maybe having Booker as the number 1, Beal as the number 2, Wiggins as the number 3, it could work a little bit better. I mean, maybe they can do better than the 11th seed than what they did this year. You know, a big 3 of Durant, Booker, and Beal just didn't work. They're 3 offensive-minded players. Somebody had to sacrifice their play. Nobody was really willing to do it. So yeah, Andrew Wiggins, I feel, can fit Phoenix. Then you can also include another player like a Duncan Robinson or Terry Rozier for cap flexibility relief. And then you can do a young asset like a Jaime Jaquez. I think Phoenix would be more interested in Nikola Jovic. And then you can include the 20th pick in the draft. Now, it seems like a lot. Wiggins, Duncan, Jovic, and the first round pick. It seems like a lot. But for Kevin Durant, I'd be willing to do it. Because when the Heat are trying to make a trade this offseason to get a player to help us with our current team, there's 4 players I'm trying to keep on this roster. Or look at me, I'm trying to keep. I'm not the coach or the GM, but I would like to stay on the team. Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware, and Davion Mitchell. I would like these 4 guys to stay on this team. Because if you implement Kevin Durant with those 4 guys in the starting lineup, that's a dangerous starting lineup. Dangerous. So, yesterday, a proposed trade package was put in, including Kel'el Ware. And this is what I want to talk about with you guys. So the Miami Heat would receive Kevin Durant. And in return, the Phoenix Suns would get Kel'el Ware, Terry Rozier, and Duncan Robinson. So, but no first round draft pick. So, the Miami Heat would be giving up a cornerstone franchise piece in Kel'el Ware, but they'd get their guy Kevin Durant. They'd be keeping Andrew Wiggins and Bam Adebayo. So what this means is that Bam Adebayo would most likely move to the center position. Kevin Durant goes to the 4. Wiggins goes to the 3. Tyler at the 2. Davion Mitchell at the 1. You keep your 20th pick. There's a lot of centers that are going around that pick that you can add. Guys like Thomas Sorbet, Joan Berginger, Ryan Kalkbrenner. You also have, if he falls to you, you have Danny Wolf. You can also add, these are really like the power forward centers going within the 20th pick. You also have Noah Essenge. So you have a lot of options that are going to be available in the 20th pick as far as the center goes. But Kel'el Ware has shown flashes of being a potential cornerstone player. And he's built differently, you guys. He's a 7'3" type of player. I really want to keep Kel'el Ware on this roster. Because you make this trade. You give up Kel'el Ware, Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, and you get Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is basically a 1-year rental. Basically. And if you have to give him an extension, now you have to pay him after when he's 38, 39 years old. The point of giving Kevin Durant was you have a 1-year shot, let's see how far you go, and you don't have to give up that many assets. Phoenix is already lowering their asking price. So in my opinion, you can maybe get away with a trade of just Andrew Wiggins, Terry Rozier, and the first round pick. You may not even have to include Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic. But you can sell Phoenix on getting a young center with the 20th pick. The reports have said that Phoenix wants a young center in a potential trade for Kevin Durant. Doesn't specifically say Kel'el Ware. Even though Kel'el Ware is the best center that the Heat have, the Miami Heat can do a potential trade package where they're getting the 20th pick, where they can get one of these young centers that I just mentioned. You're also getting Nikola Jovic, who's about 6'11", 240 pounds, can play the power forward, sometimes center position. He's not a center, we know that, but for a young team, he can play multiple positions. So that is something that you can sell to Phoenix as well. That, hey, you can get a young center with the 20th pick, along with cap flexibility and a young, with expiring contracts and a young asset like Nikola Jovic. But at the end of the day, guys, the Miami Heat has to strike if they want to make this trade. We have made blunders in the past because we're not willing to give up assets. Damian Lillard specifically comes up in mind. Because of the unwillingness to give Jaime Jaquez and potential draft picks, it kind of shot us in the foot with Damian Lillard. The talk stalled with Portland. So if you want to trade for Kevin Durant, if you feel that Kevin Durant can be that player that can help you now, you may have to give up the 20th pick and Nikola Jovic. There's a lot of different trades, you guys, where the Miami Heat can do with the Phoenix Suns. It's going to be a game of hardball. But at the end of the day, how bad do we really want Kevin Durant on this roster? I think it's at a point where you can get him, but you can still keep this team relevant in keeping your cornerstone pieces. But if you have to give up a guy like Kel'el Ware, I think it's a deal breaker because Kevin Durant is just for 1 year. What if Kel'el Ware breaks out in Phoenix and becomes one of the best centers in the NBA? Now, you have bit yourself in the ass really bad. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you guys. If Kel'el Ware has to be included in this trade, would you do it? Or do you think the Heat won't have to do it? I would be okay with an Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, first-round draft pick, and Terry Rozier or Duncan Robinson. That's a lot. That's a lot. I really would like to do either or. You can take Nikola Jovic or the first-round pick. I don't think we'd have to give up both, but it's depending on what the market is. If there's not a high market for Kevin Durant, try to keep all your assets. But if teams like Houston's in the running or Minnesota's in the running, because there's been other teams linked to be interested in him, now you're going to have to give up a little more. Now you may have to give up Kel'el Ware. So Heat Nation, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe as we continue to push the 7,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said.